Hello and welcome to Run Testers. My name's Nick. In this video I'm going to be comparing the Nike Zoomfly 6, which is not this shoe, it's this shoe, and the New Balance SC Trainer V3, which is this shoe. So the Nike Zoomfly 6 and the New Balance SC Trainer V3 are both plated training shoes or super trainers. They're designed to be partner shoes to the top racing shoes in the New Balance and Nike ranges, or shoes that can indeed stand in for racing shoes whilst also being very versatile daily trainers as well. Zoomfly is the cheaper shoe, especially in the UK. It's £155 or $170, whereas the SC Trainer V3 is $180 in the US and a pretty wild £230 in the UK. The Zoomfly 6 is the lighter shoe. It's 266 grams or 9.4 ounces, whereas the New Balance SC Trainer V3 is 278 grams or 9.8 ounces. The Nike has an 8mm drop and a stack height of 42mm at the heel, 34 at the forefoot. The New Balance has a 6mm drop and a stack height of 40mm at the heel and 34mm at the forefoot. Comes to the design of the shoes. With the Nike, you've got a two-layer woven mesh upper, quite a bit of padding around the heel of the collar of the shoe there, and a fairly significant internal heel counter as well to add some support. You have a dual density midsole. The top layer is Nike's bouncy ZoomX foam, which is the best foam in its range, the stuff used in its racing shoes. And then you have an SR02 carrier foam beneath that to add a slightly more durable and stable material beneath the ZoomX. And then between those two foams, you've got a full-length carbon plate. And then you have a waffle tread outsole, good coverage on the forefoot, a little bit at the heel there as well, and a big cutout in the middle that reduces the weight and shows off the carbon plate. And then with the New Balance, you've got a Phantom Fit engineered mesh upper, and then you've got a fuel cell midsole, which is all made from the same material. It's not a dual density midsole or anything like that. It is the 20% PIBA, 80% EVA blend of fuel cell, I believe. New Balance tweaks the makeup of fuel cell quite a lot, so in its racing shoes, it's full PIBA and that kind of thing, but it's still a pretty lightweight and bouncy foam. You've got a carbon plate that's forked under the forefoot to reduce a little bit of weight there. Like the Nike, you've got a big cutout on the bottom of the shoe that shows off the carbon plate and brings the weight down. And then similar rubber coverage to the Nike shoe as well, with good forefoot coverage, a couple of strips at the back there. So all the key impact areas are covered, and both shoes have been pretty good for me in terms of grip. And I've seen no signs of wear and tear on that outsole after over 100k of use in both. Come to the fit of the two shoes. I've got a UK 9 in both shoes, which is my normal size. With a Nike, that's a US 10, and that's the size I've used across Nike shoes for many years. I've got no concerns at all with the fit of the Nike Zoomfly 6. Really comfortable shoe. It's maybe a little bit closer around the toes than some of Nike's more cushioned training shoes, but I've got enough room there for long runs, and yeah, all round a really comfortable fit. With a New Balance, it's a US 9.5, so it is a little bit smaller than the Nike in terms of US sizing, and I think you do have a little bit less room around the toes as a result, but the fit is still really good for me. You've got less padding around the back of the shoe, but it's still comfortable there, holds the foot well. I've not had any heel rub, which has been a problem on some New Balance shoes that have launched this year, and overall the fit's been pretty comfortable, even if the Nike I think has a slightly more accommodating and padded upper for daily training. On to the run test then, and these are both shoes that I've enjoyed using a lot during my marathon training, in particular for the Valencia Marathon, which I didn't end up running, but I did a lot of training for, and these two shoes were really enjoyable for it. I've done over 100k in each of them because they are ideal for kind of longer sessions, easy to steady long runs, progression runs, that kind of thing. They really tick off all those runs really well, and I think they do pretty much an equally good job of it. They're both fantastic shoes that have a really nice relaxed side to them, so they feel comfortable at easier paces and on long runs, but they do have a lot of pace there if you do start to push the pace in them, which you need to in those long sessions. So the New Balance was the shoe I tested first, and it was a pleasant surprise actually. I wasn't a huge fan of the first two versions of the shoe. The first one was just a bit too big. It was bouncy, but it was just a bit too big, I think, to really enjoy for anything fast at all. And then the second version was a bit lifeless, and I do really like the foam in this third version of the shoe. I think it has a nice responsive edge whilst being comfortable. Obviously it's not a full PIBA midsole and stuff like that, and you can get hung up on the details a bit too much, I think, because just based on how it feels really nice on the run, and you do get a nice bit of energy return when you are going to run faster, but it is also a very comfortable shoe for more relaxed runs. I did do several sessions in the shoe, including like sessions on double days, and I think it excels up until about my marathon pace. So I think the fastest session I did was probably something like 10 times 1k at around marathon pace, and it feels really good for that. I did a 4 times 4k session in it as well, and a 15-mile progression run, and all those runs felt really good. Once you push past to kind of faster race paces, flat out efforts, it doesn't feel as lively and nimble and as exciting as some of the shoes on the market. And that's actually the case, to be fair, with the Nike as well, but I do think it's probably got a little bit more punch and push when you are at those fast paces. Just like the New Balance, I found the Nike a really big step up on past versions of the shoe. Like the last two couple of Zoomfly shoes I think have been really heavy and just not at all what I'd consider a super trainer. They were kind of fairly okay, easy and long run shoes, but you're paying a lot of money for a shoe that didn't really do much when it came to trying to run fast. And the new version is a fast shoe. I've done similar sessions actually to the New Balance, but I've probably pushed the Nike a bit harder and done some faster sessions. Did a 10 times 1 mile in it. I've done a hard 45-minute progression run, pretty solid, steady 15 miler as well, and just have really enjoyed it at all times. You have that really comfortable upper and relaxed feel underfoot at easy paces. You really notice actually when warming up and cooling down in this shoe, but then it has the punch and the propulsion you're looking for when it comes to those fast sessions in between those warm-ups and cool downs and fast sessions in general. Again, I think it excels right up to those marathon paced efforts and sessions. When you start to look at faster sessions, there are super trainers I'd rather be in, things like the Hoka Mach X2, the Endorphin Speed 4, but you can do them in a Nike, and you can, to be fair, also do them in New Balance. They're bigger shoes, they feel cruisier, they don't really feel like super aggressive shoes for those fast sessions, but you can run fast in them, they are good enough for those sessions, and then they have that really nice comfortable feel, that cruisy feel when you're not going flat out and want a shoe to kind of run at controlled paces in longer sessions or just run easy in fact. Also, I'd say that both have felt pretty stable to me. For high stack shoes with soft foams in them and that kind of thing, I haven't really had any concerns about stability when running on kind of standard pavements with things like cambers and broken up bits and stuff like that. So that's a plus point, I think, for both shoes, because they've achieved that stability without going for a really heavy design with a really wide base or anything like that. So yeah, all round, just really good shoes you can use for a mix of everything. Did do a short run wearing both shoes at the same time. The Nike did feel a little bit softer than the New Balance for me, especially at the heel. I also think you get a slightly more punchy feel from it when you come off the toes. I just think the plate in the shoe maybe just delivers a little bit more punch off the toes than you get from the New Balance, but it is pretty close to cool all round. Also has that really nice padded upper, which it's not something I really look out for in super trainers and that kind of thing. As long as it's comfortable enough, then that's fine. But this is a super trainer that excels on comfort. The New Balance is comfortable, but actually the Nike does feel very good to slip on each and every day for daily training. When I was running in both shoes at the same time, I did also notice that the extra foam you get in the New Balance under the forefoot there. So like I said, I think you get a little bit more kind of lift and push from the Nike when you roll through onto that forefoot, but it does feel like a more cushioned shoe under the forefoot than New Balance. I had no problems with discomfort on the Nike on longer runs. I think there is enough cushioning there, but New Balance probably just has that little bit more comfort under the forefoot with the extra foam you have there, the slightly lower drop. I think the Nike rolls you through a little bit more aggressively onto the forefoot, which is good as long as it doesn't end up being uncomfortable. It doesn't for me with the Nike, but you probably get a slightly more cruisy roll through with the New Balance, and maybe that will be more comfortable for some people. Comes the verdict. I think the Nike Zoom Fly 6 and the New Balance SC Trainer V3 do a similar job, and they do it very well. They are very versatile daily trainers that really excel on the comfortable side of things and still have a lot of speed. Not maybe as much speed as things like the Hoka Mach X2 and the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4, but you have more comfortable shoes here in terms of the upper and the underfoot feel and the kind of more relaxed vibe they have when it comes to easy runs, daily training runs, progression runs, that kind of thing. They really do work really well for it, and they still do have pace. So I do think they have a similar feel and do a similar job, but I do think the Nike does it a bit better. I think you get a little bit more range from the Nike in terms of the all-out speed. If I was just picking one of these shoes to stand in as a racing shoe instead of a full kind of carbon super shoe, I would pick the Nike. I think it has that little bit of extra pace for fast workouts as well, and actually I think it also has a slightly more comfortable design in terms of the upper for daily training as well. So the New Balance ticks a lot of boxes, does them all really well, but I think the Nike ticks all the same boxes, and actually I think it does all of those boxes just that little bit better. So I prefer it all round for sure. The price is also a big factor, especially in the UK. In the UK, this isn't really a contest because New Balance has got a silly price, but even if it came down in price to the same price as the Nike, I'd be picking the Nike. In the US, the price is closer, but yeah, I still do prefer the feel of the Nike Zoom Fly 6 underfoot. Not writing off the New Balance as a bad shoe at all. I really liked running in it, but I think the Nike just does the same kind of stuff a little bit better, and it's the one I'd pick out of this pair for sure. That's our comparison of the Nike Zoom Fly 6 and the New Balance SC Trainer V3. Let us know what you think in the comments below. How have you found the super trainers that have come out this year? Have you tested a few of them? Is there any that you've really preferred out of the main ones I've mentioned here? The Nike, the New Balance, the Hoka Mach X2, the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4, even the Super Blast if we're extending it to non-plated shoes. But yeah, do like and subscribe, ring the little bell, and we will see you next time on the channel.